So now you have your file here. You can alt and drag. What is wrong with this? Like, why my system is lagging suddenly? Just give me a second. It's fine. Like place it wherever you want to place, like from whatever angle you want to render it out. Then you can change this to 0 range. But this red color doesn't look very nice. This if you render it out like this, it won't be very nice. So what you can do, you can go to material. You can see that lots of tons of materials are available. Like basic material with little bit shine. Personally, I prefer skin shader or blend. So they have more control over these things and it will give you better depth while rendering. So yeah. So and right now you can see everything is low poly. So I'll just click on all high. So it will convert, like it will make everything into high poly, higher version, higher division in one click. Or you can convert everything into lower division as well by clicking all low. So right now this is my okay. This looks all details you can see, but still this is not. You can see if I take a screenshot, it doesn't look. It won't look nice. It will look exactly the same. So what you have to do, you have to render it. BPR render. Shift R is the shortcut, or if you just simply click on this, it will render this file. It will take some time. Okay. And like one reminder, I guess yesterday I have sent a mail regarding this like fees due and all. Still few of have guys have like because your course is about to get over. You have one more module left. So make sure clear your fees. That is something like management asks us to like remind you guys because I guess by if you don't clear it up soon, maybe by today or tomorrow, your this access to recorded classes or online joining classes will be revoked. That email ID will be blocked. So make sure clear it off. Or if you have any doubts or if you want to ask anything, please address your whatever you like. If you suppose you need extra time or anything like whatever is going on, you can mail to student coordinator, inform her, update them because management they needs to know. So update them. So otherwise, it will be a like problem for everybody because everybody's like all these things are going for everyone. So yeah, because yesterday I sent this mail very clearly. So please make sure make it really clear your views and all. Otherwise, we won't get our salary. Okay. And it seems like how many? And Shuman Darshan, let me see. This Nitin's fees are due. So please,
I have taken the permission from Bibin sir.
just anything. Just confirm like mail to Namrata and student coordinator and like whatever it is. Just inform them because they are asking us to continuously to inform you, update you guys. So please do that. Okay, so now you are done this thing. So render it out. So if you take a screenshot, still it will be a very low quality. I'm taking a screenshot. Uh, clip it, print screen. Open Photoshop. This is I'm showing how to take a good quality, high resolution renders. So because finally when you create something, submitting like a good quality render is also very important. How to present it, that is again very important. New custom, I guess, with both step. So if you see, if I zoom in, it's all pixelated, all pixelated. So something like this, it's not acceptable. This is not good. So what you can do is, what you guys can do it for because I have rendered it, and if I suppose I want to modify some colors or something, or some I want to change something. So what I can do is I can go to light, modify my lighting. Suppose I want to change the lighting direction slightly from the left side. I can do that. Then I have to re-render it. So make sure re-render. So, but how to take it? Because still you can see the render screenshot was blurry. So how blurry pixelated? So how to get a good quality render? For that you have to go to render tab. Click on this. Then you have to see render properties. Here you can switch on like what are the things you want to render. You can switch on your wax preview. You can modify wax in your material. Triple S, if suppose you want triple S, then you have ambient occlusion. Then all these things you switch it on. Then rest everything, each and everything manually you can modify. Like triple S, you can modify it here. Like your number of rays, number of angle, blur, depth, all these things you can modify. Ambient occlusion you can modify here. When you render it, if all this, if you modify and like if you increase the amount, volume too much, it will increase the render time. Like it's like any renderer. If you increase the number of rays, bounce rays, or indirect light, and all those things, it gonna cost your time. Then after that, then you have to see there's an option render passes. Click on this. You can see whatever I have rendered this character. If I click on this, it says it's already rendered this thing, and with all shadows and everything, and width and height you can see is 44803360 our document size. If I save this file, click on that. It will ask you to save a PSD, and it will name everything properly. Desktop, this one. Double click, open it. Oh, sorry, it's Photoshop. Right click. So now you can see it's quite big, good quality resolution. If you can increase the resolution if you want, you can change things, or you can if you want to add color, you can do everything. So if you for adding color or textures or anything, you can do that within ZBrush very easily, or you can use Photoshop for overlay things. So now you can see render passes. You have all the passes. You have mask, the entire selection of the model. You have depth, Z depth. You have only shaded version. You have shadows. You have because right now I've just now switched on ambient occlusion triple S. If I render it once again, let's see. If I render it once again, it will render triple S and ambient occlusion as well. Because you might have seen all those big, huge renders, very good quality ZBrush renders. This is how they do it. It will take little bit time because triple S takes a lot of time. Triple S and ambient occlusion basically increase the render time, because triple S they have to calculate the thickness of the model. Then ambient occlusion have to read the entire scene depending nearby props object. Based on that, it will generate ambient occlusion. It will generate that, and it will render quickly.
So,
Yes, tell me.
what is triple S?
Oh, triple S basically subsurface scattering. Okay, I'll just show you some examples of that. Subsurface scattering. I just clicked on Google. So subsurface scattering is basically like that translucency of your usually skin and all the organic stuff they have a subsurface, but our skin is basically translucent. It's not completely transparent or it's not completely opaque. So it's
Okay.
translucent. So if you just click on, show you some nice example. This you can see this is without triple S, this hand. If you add triple S, you can see this backlight and with this everything, because the depend upon the thickness of the skin or that part, it becomes lighter in color, and the inside color in skin or blood color vessel, those things you can see. That is basically light is penetrating inside your skin and then scatters. So that's why it's called subsurface scattering, because it's under your skin, subsurface, and then it scatters. So it becomes those bright color you can see, and that adds a little bit more extra this thing. What do you call it? Uh, Another one more detail to your skin, and it looks really realistic and nice. If you don't have it, you can see if this is way too much. But if you don't have it, if you see these two reference, this looks little bit like little odd, and this one looks really nice with this redness. It looks really realistic and natural. So that's why if you have subsurface scattering, you can add those color very easily. That is something you can see it very easily in ears and all, wherever you have thin surface, thin muscles and skin and all those things. You can see it. It look this like you see with this subsurface, it looks really nice. That is very important,
Oh, sir, like
especially
for
for
this, you have, yes, sir.
hmm. Tell me.
So for this, we will be having separate map or like texture map, sir.
Yes,
We will be
yes,
having normal
yes.
map.
No, totally separate. Subsurface, will have a separate map. For the like for characters, the number of textures we're going to create. I'll tell you the number of textures. One, you have to create a diffuse map. Then you have to
Yes,
create a normal map, roughness map.
yes, sir.
Then you have to create a subsurface map, and then you have to create a specular map or maybe secondary roughness map. Like
Oh,
to get a really realistic feel, you have to add multiple maps to get those realistic appearance. So everything is rendered. Okay, I'll show you. I have now you can see AO and triple is also rendered. So if I just click this, it will ask for save it, render. You cannot save everything together, so you can save one by one. Just click on the render, save, shadow, save, depth, save, shaded, save, then minimize. I don't want this, and this is also useless. Change this to Photoshop. Sorry, my mistake. All the maps are open, but and by default, you can see this map is gray, depth is gray. Then so you have to change, because you have to want to use all these maps. This is a composite one, render and composite. These are like almost same. These two are perfectly same. Let's see. I guess there are two different renders, right? Two. Oh, lighting difference. Sorry, this was not required. This is our subsurface scattering. You can see based on a skin. This is something because this is too much. Based on our this skin depth, we can modify this. Then mask. Mask is just to create the selection. Ambient occlusion, shadows. It basically gives you entire control. The way we render it in movies and all, you render each and every pass separately, and then you edit it. So right now you can see you cannot move it because it's gray. So you have to convert this to mode, to RGB, then image mode, 8-bit. Then, okay, correctly. Where is, where are, oh, my mistake. I pasted everything in alpha. So that is something I can fix. Control A, Control C, Control V, Control A, Control C, Control, because I have closed all those layers, so that's why I'm not going back and doing it. A, Control C, V, A, Control C, Control V. Delete, delete, or just select, okay, D, delete these two. You can see I have all the layers here. And where is my other one? So everything is here now. You can see. I can switch off each and every one by one. This is my base. I'll just duplicate this. Control J. This background. For we have this mask. So for this mask, we can just right control click and select this entire thing. Switch off this. Click on your layer. Backslash from keyboard. I just click backslash. So it creates a mask. Oh sorry, Control D. Or Control Z. Create a then create a mask. You can see you have created this mask. Now this background color you can change to anything. It's clean, crisp, and everything is fine. So you can change it to any color, anything you want. It's totally up to you. You can. I'm just doing it randomly. Reddish. Then we have mask, drag, mask, delete, mask. So duplicating the mask. So I'll just check things one by one. So this is our shadow. Suppose you want to modify the shadow, you want to add some color or change or anything, you can do it. So you can just simply select this shadow. You can see you have all this thing. Little bit, you see more depth. If you want it, you can keep it, or if you just simply remove it, it's totally up to you. Ambient occlusion, multiply, a slight extra depth. That looks nice, and some scattering in screen. And this is way too much. You can just simply reduce opacity, and this background I'll change the color. See, edges like if that prominent dark thing is gone, slightly lighter color, and then you can just render it out, and you can like modify, do things in your Photoshop. You have entire control of Photoshop. Now you can see everything is so clean and crisp. So something submitting something like this or uploading whenever you're going to showcase a file, use this technique. You can show your high res very nicely like this technique. So use this process to submission and check your files and submit and present it nicely, because high res is very important. Okay, let's move to, okay. So now document size is too big, so because of that only it's like creating all this problem. Half, yes, and again one more half, yes. But if you do this, and you can see it looks really small. You have to zoom, and if you try to move anything, it won't move. So what you have to do is Control N and drag, left mouse button, click and drag, reset your file, then press T again. Now you have your entire file. Okay. Okay, so now we have this one head. So we can just zoom in and check everything. So suppose, okay, before starting with head, what I'll do is I'll start with eyes. You can see in my eyes have two different set of this thing mesh. One is for lens, one is for base eyeball. So suppose I want to create this texture. So what I'll do is, so I'm showing you a shortcut process by which you can create really amazing texture within no time. And it's all this is I'm going to use poly paint. Yeah, like, but I'm not going to paint anything manually, because if you go to if you go like this, for realistic characters, realistic things, if you paint manually it will look really paintish and not that realistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use projections and convert those texture as poly paint. And then once I'm done with my low poly, I can just simply project those detail on my low poly and extract those textures very easily. So that process will come later, but I'll show you how to, because this right now it's all gray, so it doesn't look that great. So what I'll do, control D once again. So because a poly paint depends upon your number of polygons, you can just control D one more time, make it like a bit smoother. Okay, light. I can like keep it in the center like this, almost flat. So now I have this of this. Both the eyes are visible clearly. If I want, I can increase the document size totally up to me. Right, the document size is quite low, so it's totally up to me the way I want. So I can just simply zoom in and work on one file, or I can zoom in and work on like both the eyes together. Okay, I'm going to work on both the eyes together. So subdivide your that particular model to multiple particular part multiple times. Then go to document. Then you can see there's an option called zap link, Z app link. So we shortcut we call it zap link. Z is for ZBrush, application is application link. ZBrush application link. So you can just click on this. It will ask for enable polygon colorize. It basically asking you to permission to activate polygon paint, like poly paint. Polygon paint is poly paint. You going to enable it. Then now it will ask for Zapping projection. So you want to activate projection. Yes, I want to activate projection. And double sided means, suppose you want to paint something in the front, it will project back to the back side as well. Double sided, like front and back, it will project the same texture in the front and the back as well. So this is something like, suppose you have something symmetrical, like front and back are exactly the same. That time you could use it, but for this I don't need it. Fade is something edges, like whatever you're projecting, that edges will be blurred and blended with this color, this gray color, whatever color you're using. So you can use that. If you want, if you want, you can keep it on, so it makes things easy to blend. Enable perspective. If you want to enable perspective, you can enable that. But my personal preference, what I prefer, I don't want to enable perspective because it will create some distortion in your camera. So I'll just keep it off, then drop. Click on that, it will open Photoshop by default. Because Photoshop you have more control as compared to rather than doing it in the ZBrush. So it will open Photoshop by default. If it doesn't open your Photoshop, it will ask for a I'll show you a new window where it will ask for the Photoshop location. So you just have to browse your Photoshop location, select the photo application set application this application icon, and then open it. So it will open that thing. So now you can see I opened it. It opened a file with three different layers. And this is something, what I'm telling you, this is something industry secret. Nobody will tell you these things. And this is, but like with this thing, you can texture things really high quality within no time and with great quality. Because projection is something. even with like substance you cannot achieve those details, because suppose you are projecting actual image, that is something, no matter what you are doing, no matter how much time you're spending on texturing, manual texturing, you won't be able to replicate that. So for this I'm going to use photos, actual photos, I photos and all. So you have, like, you see the one base shading. I'll switch up this base, just the shape with background. Then you have just the shape with selection. Then you have shading, that shaded part, that part only shaded. So we are going to work on this layer only, or because, and make sure by mistake also don't delete this mask, or don't deactivate, don't modify. So what I'll do, I'll go to my Google and I'll search for eyeball. I'll search for eye and size large. So you can see I have so many textures. So say exact same technique. Find something without with really less amount of reflections or shadows and all. Like something like this, you can use very easily. Or I can simply search eye. Eyeball gives me all this gross photos. Eye. Yeah. So I have all these photos. Let's see. Or I guess I have eye texture. Yes. I can search for eye.
Sir,
Yes, tell me.
sir, on the day you informed me that like you will show us a new software like Pixel for texturing the character.
Pixel for texturing the character.
So a similar software for like Pixel where we can get high quality textures for character.
Oh, texturing XYZ. Oh, I got it. Yes,
Yes,
I
sir,
did it
yes,
now.
sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Texturing XYZ. Yes. Texturing XYZ pipeline is bit different. Yes, that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm for texturing XYZ. You have. Okay, I'll just show you what is texturing XYZ. XYZ. If you check in images, texturing XYZ, it's a service. They provide all this displacement map, so you can use the displacement map to create all this fine detail, fine texture. Plus, they provide you this kind of a high detail polarized section like uh, this kind of photos, which you can directly project on your model, and then project it and create convert them into a texture. So for this, that's what I'm doing right now. So I'll be you for face and all, for body I'll be using texturing XYZ photographs. I'll show those things. So I'll be using those things. You can see this particular image. Eyes are really realistic. And everything is ZBrush grayscale model. So how they do it? This is what they do. They create all detail in ZBrush and they project it. Or you might they can paint it also. It's painting, and all these fine details you create with texturing XYZ displacement maps. So that technique also I'll show you how to use that, which is very easy, simple, and within no time you can create this. I'll show that. Don't worry, I'll show that as well. So, but for using texturing XYZ, like displacement, not the texture. I'm not talking about texture, like color texture, diffuse map. I'm talking about the displacement map. These maps. To using this, you need to have a unwrap. Without unwrap, you cannot use it. These are like basic textures. You have to create those textures properly and then project it on your model and generate that. I'll show you a small this thing. So for that, I have to unwrap the model. So I'll use some unwrapped model for that. I'll show you the entire thing process. So I'll start with this texturing first. So I'll show that because that's what I planned. So we'll use texturing XYZ textures and create this entire texture. So let's see. Okay, this looks decent. Copy, Control V, paste. V. The center black is basically this black part. Align it perfectly, or you can just simply align it with this line. Like you can see the borders right easily. If it's slightly extra, like 1 pixel extra or something like that, enter. Then take brush B, any of the brush. You can take a smooth brush. Forget about all this reflection; those things won't be visible. Just paint this area. You know that pupil is 100% black. There's nothing. There's no light reflection. Nothing is there. So paint it 100% black. Then for the outer side, you can simply clone it. Stamp tool. Uh, oh, I guess I have modified the brush. Anything going outside this surface doesn't matter because that won't be visible. It won't project that surface. It's standard. Okay. Then V Alt just drag. The position is not straight. Place it nicely. Minus Control E. Merge these two there. And now after placing your texture on that surface, you have to merge this texture with this layer one. Never ever modify this layer one name or never modify anything in this layer basically. Now I have to control E, merge with this layer one and preserve mask. Always preserve. Make sure preserved it. Now this will become part of this layer one. Control S, save this file, go back to your ZBrush. It will ask re-enter ZBrush. Re-enter ZBrush. Pick up, pick up. Okay, this is why it's not. Array. White. Why it? Oh my fault. But it should visible texture. Like it have just converted that into a displacement and used it, but it should have used material RGB. So first thing first, like I forgot to switch on all these materials and all. I didn't switch on that, so that's why it's not working. So what I'll do for eye. First thing, eye material. I fix the eye material. So eye material usually uh, we use toy plastic. So for this, I'll use only M material. Switch off your add. See, I just added the material because that gray color blend doesn't support any texture. So I got your texture. You can see nice reflection. And if you isolate this and switch off your lens part, you can see you have this nice, really nice texture. Now go to blend again. Now see, we got this entire texture done within no time. Just you have to copy paste in Photoshop and place and save it and reopen in ZBrush. It will project everything. So you can see all colors, everything, and it looks really nice. And similarly, that I guess I'll connect my hard disk. I'll just show you some part of face like quickly, because what happens, like if you use this technique, it becomes really easy to create any texture. Like for face, I'll switch off my perspective. I'll be using skin shader. I can use skin shader. This is my base skin shader. I can manipulate color if I want. If I don't want, I can leave it. uh, or best will be if I open the symmetrical texture or symmetrical file. This is asymmetrical anyways. Okay, let's start with do it this only. So I'm using material as skin material. You see, skin shader. I'm not using any matte caps. I'm using standard material. So make sure of that. For texturing, you have to use standard material, not matte caps. If you use matte cap, it will give you different appearance altogether. So I'm using skin shader, and then I can control everything. So same process. I guess I can find some textures. Here. I just because I haven't connected my hard disk where we have all the textures. I'm just going to go. I'm just showing you how the process. Biggest texture. So you can see we can find like all this kind of texture online. Lots of textures and all. So I can just use any of them. Okay, there's some watermark. Yeah, suppose this one. Suppose like this is not the this is the old technique of creating texture. This is not the right one because I'm going to use all those polarized like photographs where you don't have any shadow. I can see in this photo you have shadows, highlights, but I'm going to use those photographs where there's no highlights, no shadows. So I'm just for because I have to connect my hard disk and then open those things. I can do that, I guess, but it will take some time. So I'll just showcase this. I'll just keep those files ready, and then tomorrow I'll show that. So just save this image, or I can just simply copy it. Then exactly same process. Go to Documents, click on Zap Link, enable Colorize, drop now. So it will ask like, well, make sure don't rename this file, don't modify this file, don't do anything. Update, it will change that file here. This is the actual size of the document. Control V. Forward. Okay. Copy. Control V. Yeah, I have this. So double click. Forget about all this like coloring, coloration, all these things. You can see that is because of this shader, this particular shader. You can see that. So don't worry about those things. I'll go to edit, puppet wrap. I want more points, and I don't want to see this mesh. So I'll start because nose shape is a bit different. So I'll start with lips, placement, placement, puppet wrap. Try to align everything properly. Depth, depth for eyes. Align it nicely. File. Don't worry about any stretch or anything because it's going to project on your actual file. So it will create those shape automatically. Like eyebrows, if you want, you can remove those eyebrows completely. So enter. Then take your brush. Take your brush. You can take a new layer. B. This is only and only base. This is not our final texture. Top of this, we have to create this thing. We have to use Substance or some other software to texture it. I'm just blending it nicely. Lip, lip color, define it. I'm just painting it directly. This depth line, align it nice perfectly. Any wrong alignment, you can fix it here only directly. And I forget about the eyes. Then stamp. I don't want any eyebrows. Sorry. Uh, Current and below. Stamp and remove eyebrows. Then for neck, exactly same thing. You can see it's picking my base textures detail from my model and adding all this detail in my model. I'm just removing those areas so I can paint on my horns, which is I can do it separately as well. That's totally up to me, the way I want it. So base is done. Little bit extra is nice. Control E, preserve. Then Control S, go back to ZBrush, re-enter, pick. You can see this processing so many things. See, it dropped everything on your model, and from front pose, you can see it got all those colors and small details, skin details on this surface. And if you just switch up so low, you see it become part of your skin. If you want, you can just extract these textures and then start working on those. You can add all this small detail. So like this, it becomes very easy to texture your character. So right now that texture resolution was really low. There's no details. Everything is flat. So you can use this and create amazing texture, amazing quality things. Base. I'm talking about only the base. Especially, I'm not talking about any of the cloth or metal or any armor, anything. Those things we are going to create in this thing substance. For skin, skin it should look realistic, like a real character, real humanoid character skin. So for that, I'll project all the details and then I'll create all those things and then add extra details on that and modify everything in ZBrush. Everything in Substance after using this base. So for I'll show like this is how you create base texture. Like base section with all details, you can see all information is there, light, tone, depth, and it will align with your high poly as well. When you bake it, it will convert everything into like perfect texture and export a PSD, and then you can modify that PSD very easily. Those things I'll show, but before that I have to poly paint everything, so I'll show that technique. And about maps, I was talking about maps, right? I'll show that. Oh shit, I should have saved it. I guess I have a backup, hopefully. I'll just take attendance and I'll show you this thing. back up. This like map process. Where is my Unreal? I'll take attendance by the time it opens. Where is my where is my file? It should be in this only. Okay, let it open. So there's no yes. So by polypid, we'll create a base. Then we'll take everything. Then we'll start creating our low poly. Once you finish with the entire base, and then we'll create the low poly and bake everything and take everything into this thing substance. Okay, let's see. Anirudh is here, Anshuman is here, Ashwin not here, Nitin is here. Then yes, tell me.
Sir, can you after completing this, can you show how LODs work
Yes, yes, of course.
at the end of the model?
Okay. Tushar also not here. Yes. One, two, three, four, five. Amazing. It's this is opening for the engine got updated, so I'll show you. I guess I have a rendered version of this. This is Unreal's render. Unreal render. This is, I was like working like see is I use the exact same process. I projected everything, created it's low poly model. So, or for this, for let's say depth and all, there the eyes and nose, and so you can see there's some reddish tint in that. Subsurface, I've created a subsurface model, subsurface map. Then I have created a diffuse map. I guess I can show you the textures. That will be easy, like better to easy to make you understand. Where is that folder? Yes. Yeah. So you can see I have created diffuse map for then I have created normal map. Then where is that file textures? This is not the mask. So I have created a mask for everything, like for near to eyes and lips. I've created a mask plus subsurface for plus diffuse plus roughness plus specular. So multiple maps to create like texture for especially for skin and all. You have to create those details. This looks really weird. So let's fix it. So like all those things you have to create separate texture for subsurface have to separate texture for roughness, for specular, for diffuse, everything together you have to apply. Because skin have two speculars. One is for your fine details and one is for your specular scattering, like the amount of scattering plus subsurface colors and all those things you have to create separately. Okay, it will take forever to this thing. So okay, because it's updated, so it will take like around 40 minutes to install. So that is something we cannot do. So like try this polypaint thing. So because we'll going to polypaint tomorrow, I'll have my hard disk ready. So we'll start polypaint the entire body, project all the textures on the body, and then based on that we can like modify some base detail on our model as well. Then we'll start our low poly quickly. That's 75 already. Okay. But it's okay, it's 11. I have another class. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Practice this. Use this technique to create your texture. Like at least project your some texture, make it look good. Apply something and practice. That's what I can ask for. Practice. Yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Quickly, I have another class now, so they are, I guess start waiting. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, welcome.